thank you all for coming and being part of this panel for UNCF's Innovation Summit and representing not only Walmart, but also the great HBCU that you graduated from. So one of the first questions, when we were able to do this virtually last year, pre-COVID, a lot of the students had questions about life after college. So I would love to just go around to the various panelists, and if you could tell me what advice you would give your 22-year-old self now, today, after you've been in the workforce for a while. So we'll start with Kiera and then go to Regine and Yamani, Tyrell, and then end with Bernard. So Kiera, what would you tell your 22-year-old self?
So looking back and reflecting on it, what I would tell my 22-year-old self is one, so it's just two things, but one, don't buy a new car. Don't buy a BMW. That's the first thing. Prepare for, and the second thing is it's never too early to start planning for retirement. Start asking those questions about 401k, Roth and retirement. Start planning for that right after you get out of college, because that will ultimately save you a lot of stress as you get older. So that's the first thing. Don't be too quick to buy anything brand new out of college. Second thing is definitely have that conversation around finances and retirement planning.
That's great. And then Regine, what would you tell bright-eyed, bushy-tailed 22-year-old FAM graduate Regine when she just is entering the world post-college?
So the list would be long, but for time's sake, some of the key things that I know I would tell my 22-year-old self is, number one, it's not where you go, but the relationships you build. So often, and hopefully, you'll be afforded opportunities and you don't know where it'll lead you. Don't always think about where's the hot spot to go, where's the fun place to go, but what is that long-term goal that you have? And making sure that when you get to that place, it may not be your forever place, it could be a stop on your journey, but make sure that the relationships that you build will, one, make that place enjoyable, because again, it's not where you are, but who you know and who you surround yourself with. And two, that's going to be potentially a really great foundation for where you want to go in the future. So don't rest so much about where you might be, but more so what you might do and who you might meet. The other thing that I would definitely impress upon young Regine would be trust yourself. You know so much more than you think you do, that you went to a university that prepared you far more than you think. And it's okay to have a little bit of doubt, but also believe that you know more and you are capable of far more than you could ever imagine. And rest in that and know that success will come as long as you believe in yourself.
That is awesome. She appreciates that. So Yamani, I love that your perspective is that you, whereas Regine's been with the company for 10 years, you've been with the company for less than 10 weeks. Mm-hmm. Your perspective of what did you anticipate prior to graduation and what's the reality, and what would you tell, what advice would you have given yourself last year in preparation for where you are today?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm just starting out, so I don't have much advice, but I would say I would advise myself to meet more people, to network more people. If you remember, I was there at the San Bruno office. So if I had networked with more people, now when I started, maybe I would have more people to talk to, and then more ways that I can discover my surrounding. So I guess that's one of the point. And another thing is, don't say no to anything, like say yes to every opportunity you get, because you never know which door it can open for you. You never know who you can meet. You never know what you can learn. So just say yes whether you think you can make it or not, say yes, and then try to learn from the experience. And last thing, just be curious and try asking questions, try learning more. Maybe it doesn't apply to you, but maybe it would be handy sometime.
That's awesome. Thank you. And Tyrell.
If I had to give my younger self some advice, I would say to plan for the future better. Because when I graduated college, I expected the universe to just hand me a high-paying job, as opposed to me planning to find a job and going out and getting it. And with that, I turned down a lot of opportunities that would have set me on this path a lot earlier than if I just uh, had a better plan and took better opportunities. I didn't take them for granted. Yeah, that's what I would definitely tell my younger self.
Awesome. And Reynard, what would you tell young man Renard? You're still a young man, but younger man Renard.
I would definitely have to say, be patient. I know in this world of instant gratification, it's consistent that we always want to hurry up and get to the next role, the next position, the next thing to do. But great things do take time. So you do have to be patient in the process and understand there's something to learn as you go through. Also be authentic to yourself and build true, meaningful relationships. I can't count on my hands how many times I've gotten opportunities just because of the authentic relationships that I built and being true and genuine to myself in comparison to what my degree and my skill set could have ever gotten me. So those are definitely the two things that I would recommend.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. So, great advice that you guys dished out. And actually, these are like things that I have to still be mindful of. So one of the big things that these UNCF students will be facing soon is a transition from college life to work life. And oftentimes the people that you work with, you spend more time with than you do anyone else. So can each of you share, and I'll start with Regine, how has the experience been in terms of working, the people you work with at Walmart and the culture?
Overall, I mean, it's been completely blessed, right? I think that one thing with Walmart has is good people. Good and smart people, which is great. It's not like you're the smartest person in the room. And quite frankly, you never want to be the smartest person in the room or you won't grow. And so I constantly feel stretched. I constantly feel like I'm challenged, able to learn. And the people there are also, many of them are wanting to see you succeed. They want to see you get to the next place and support you in your passions. And I think that element has been what's been most fulfilling for me in my career at Walmart, is finding those who, one, see you for the talent that you have, and then also seek to help you continue in the passions that you have that are even beyond what your function is. I will say when it comes to coworkers, for me, I believe in finding those that you work with and working amicably with everyone. But I also believe from there, you create your core friendships, is right. Not everyone you work with is your friend, and not every friend is someone that you work with. And I think if you're able to find that balance, it makes work more enjoyable when you can find friends, but also make sure to understand your boundaries of how much time you want to spend at work, because you do spend a lot of time at work, and how do you also have that work-life balance so that you're not constantly in work mode because you're surrounded by your associates all the time. But the people there have been amazing. I mean, again, I've been there over a decade. If it wasn't, I should have left a long time ago, but they've been amazing. So I continue to stay.
Thank God for that. I'm thankful that you have. And then, Kiara, can you share a bit about your experience of working with the teams you have been exposed to at Walmart and what it's been like in terms of corporate culture?
Sure. So, Pradine said something that really hit at how I feel about it is you're going to spend a significant amount of time working. Sorry, not working, but because of the workload, you're going to spend a significant amount of time with your co-workers. And building that camaraderie with your team is a definite plus. I know for me, I enjoy the work, I enjoy the field, but what keeps me remaining at Walmart is the associates, the people that I get to work with day in and day out. They make it fun, they make it enjoyable, um, and they also make it to where I don't mind the early morning phone calls. I don't mind the late night hours working because I know that we're all working to, well, for my area specifically, we're all working to increase the company's security posture. So just due to the nature of the work, it is a benefit to us to be able um, as I said, build that camaraderie. I go out to dinner with my teammates. Sometimes we go out to for happy hours. Sometimes we have conversations after hours as well. So that is a big part of my team in my area specifically. And like I said, as you said, that's part of the reason why I have been here for so long. It's the people that I get to work with day in and day out. She hit it right on the head.
Awesome. And then Tyrell.
Hey, one thing that I like about working at Walmart is that not sure if it's a company culture or maybe just the people I work with. They allow you to be yourself. You don't have to try to fit your personality into some format that would be suitable for your coworkers. They just allow you to be you, and they allow you to, and you allow your coworkers to be themselves, and then everyone will have a trust and respect for each other in that from that regards. That's one thing I've enjoyed about working at Walmart.
Awesome. And then Reynard.
So I just have to echo everyone else's sentiments in reference to it. I believe that you do have an opportunity to work with some great, smart, talented people. And if you take the time and opportunity to be able to forge authentic relationships and be authentic to you in the process, then definitely you'll be able to become a better person, both personally and professionally, and be able to bring what you need to the table. I also say that even in those difficult situations, because of the culture and everybody that's involved, there's a high level of respect, even if you're going against the grain with everybody else in the room.
Awesome. And Yumani, I think you can offer like a really cool perspective because you were an intern
Mhm.
and you decided after your internship to accept a full-time position. So can you share in terms of your internship experience, which some of the UNCF Innovation Summit attendees may go through as well, like you did. What was your experience in terms of the Walmart corporate culture and that what made you, how did that make you decide to come on full-time to the
Yeah, as the other said, it's a definitely great company. The people I worked with during my internship were really great. I was my first internship, so everything was new for me, like as you can know. So they were there to guide me to every single step. When I faced errors, when I faced like obstacles, they were there to help me solve those errors. That's why I chose Walmart to continue. And that's what I'm seeing as well while getting back as a full time. The people here in my new team are helpful as well, they're encouraging. Like whenever I feel help, they just tell me to set up a meeting and then like that's it. That's easy. That's how it is. Easy it is. So it's really great.
Good. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so this question is for Reynard. Reynard, how did Savannah State prepare you for your role at Walmart?
Oh my. Definitely intense. Balancing workload was a necessity. Building the relationships again, I keep going back to that because that's definitely important. We also had events called Evening with Business Professionals that gave us some insight and opportunity to various businesses, both within the area and outside the area. And being able to have those conversations, practicing elevator pitches, resume writing, building, things like that, in addition to the intense workload and curriculum as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Kiara, can you share a little bit about your journey from UAPB to InfoSec at Walmart?
Yeah, I think it was said earlier. Oh wow, that's a lot, but I will try to condense it and shorten it. So I would have to say that let me see, it was around 2010, 2011 time frame when I had a conversation with my aunt, who at that time was the director of information assurance at her company. So I was already in the computer science field, but I knew very little about the security aspect, and she introduced me to it. And the summer of, I believe, 2011, I had an internship here in DC, actually, that was in the security area. I fell in love with it and I liked it. So that same year, I want to say I went to the Thurgood Marshall Fund Conference. It was in New York at the time, and Walmart was there. And because I enjoyed security so much, I had a keen interest on going into the security field. And sure enough, I met a woman there by the name of Karen Potts, and she introduced me to Deanna Moses, which was a senior manager in security at that time. Ended up interviewing with her, and I ended up getting the job prior to graduation. So I graduated walking into the job in the area that I wanted, doing the actual role that I wanted to do, and I've been here ever since. So that was
Awesome.
my journey from 2010 on up to what now 2020. So
That's great. So a lot of the UNCF innovation students are in STEM. So Tyrell, I really wanted to tap into getting your experience in terms of how have you been able to expand your skills as a software engineer at Walmart?
It's a great question. Obviously, there's a lot of self-learning things that you need to do on your own. However, Walmart affords you a lot of resources and opportunity to increase your skills. There's several learning resources that are made available, and if you're not sure what skills you need to brush up on, you can just reach out to any senior person or your manager, and they'll let you know what you should work on. It's I haven't been lost yet, so that's some ways I've been increasing my skill, self-learning and group learning. Really, Walmart has a lot of group learning, a lot. I was surprised by that when I first joined.
That's great. Well, in technology, it changes all the time, so
Yeah,
it's
I think
important.
the first week I was here, there was like a Azure Microsoft Azure like week-long session. I was blown away by that.
That's fantastic. So my last question for the group, and I'm going to start with Regine. What has been your most favorite project that you've worked on at Walmart? And I know you've worked on some really cool ones.
Unmuting is important. One of the most impactful that I will walk away with as something that I will always be passionate about, and I've done a number of pretty cool things, but was a project that I led that really had nothing to do with the role and responsibility for my job. And this kind of goes back to people surround you. When you have a passion and you give reason for it and they support you, they'll help you drive it to the end. And I led the company's driving dialogue that took place in 2019. And having quarterly conversations about topics that are often considered taboo to have at the workplace, and having leaders around me support the fact that these conversations are important, and them willing to put money behind something that wasn't for Regine, but was really for the good of the culture of Walmart and for us as individuals, will go on forever as one of my life's greatest joys that I was able to bring to work. And what this entailed was we watched collectively the first series. We watched collectively The Hate You Give as an organization. And they allowed people to go take time off of work during the workday, which is huge. It wasn't like, oh, go see it on the weekend or go see it after work. It was like, as a team, go see this movie. And then the Friday of that week, some of the actors, the director came in and spoke to Doug and had a conversation about the challenges that take place in the Black community. And what it showed me is that, one, we have a leader at the helm of Walmart that really gets it and wants it to be better. But then you also have other leaders that support that and want this to be a culture and an organization that is better for all of the associates, Black associates included. And in addition, that kind of goes to the greatness of the people that are there, but then also the willingness to put in the work. And it's not just the talk of it, it's the walk of it. And so Driving Dialogue that I did in 2019 will go on as one of my most beloved projects that I had the opportunity to work on and lead.
That's awesome. And and here we are in 2020, and you know, it's even like at a higher crescendo of awareness in terms of Black Lives Matter, and we're in the middle of a pandemic and its impact on the Black community, in addition to the racial inequities that continue. I will have to echo that your sentiment that one of the projects that I'm most proud of and is that the opportunities I've had to engage people in these really important conversations and have people be vulnerable and authentic has been unprecedented in my 20-year career. So I really value Doug McMillon too, and the tone that he sets as a leader for Walmart Global. And I think, as you know, students think about, specifically students of color, think about the transition from the womb of their beloved HBCU, being out here in the world, being at an organization that values what they bring to the table, what their culture, what their experiences bring to the table, and allow people to be their authentic selves, to make not just the company better, but because of Walmart's scale, you actually impact the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like really awesome. So thank you for sharing. So let's start with Tyrell. Like, what has been one of your favorite projects that you've worked on at Walmart?
Unfortunately, I've only worked on one project.
Well, but did you love it or no?
Yeah, it's great. I'm
What
still
is
here.
it?
Well, Well, right now I'm working on Walmart stores are using some technologies from the 90s, and we're working on an initiative to replace those technologies. So that's something I'm working on and pretty excited about. And we're somehow through the pandemic, we're still somewhat on track. So that's a testament to the people, um, their ability at Walmart.
Awesome. And then Reynard, what's been your favorite project or that you've worked on so far at Walmart?
I think professionally, the project I've enjoyed the most was our meat manufacturing plant that we built out in Georgia. So I got a chance to meet the team and help build out the asset listing for that project, and figure out how we look at it from a manufacturing perspective, since that's something that we've never done, in the accounting and all of that good stuff. So that's been the most enjoyable from a professional standpoint. And then personally, just being able to assist in recruitment and helping others. And I definitely enjoy that, and the plethora of opportunities that have been afforded up to this point. So
Awesome. That's fantastic. Honestly, I didn't even know we had a meat processing plant. So
yes, yeah,
that's
we got a
fantastic.
meat and milk.
Wow. Especially as we look at supply chain and the importance of food and the supply chain with food, that's really powerful. And then Kira, what's your favorite project that you've worked on so far?
Yeah, so before I give my project, I want to give kudos to you and Virginia for the project that you guys did that touched on the social climate that we're in. I personally want to thank you guys for doing that. Um, yes,
Thank you.
yes, we are employees, and we mentioned earlier that you got to have that work-life balance. We do understand that there are things that we do understand and see what's going on in society as a whole. The fact that you guys were on those initiatives to facilitate that conversation, it showed growth, and I want to thank you guys for doing that. So, thank you. Um, so I've been on a lot of projects, but I think the biggest one that I'm most proud of, I actually got an award for it. It is the MFA initiative, which is the multi-factor authentication. I was one of the lead engineers that introduced that into Walmart Enterprise for our associates. So anytime an associate wants to access any Walmart resource externally, when they're trying to log into their worktop or laptop, there's a credential factor that's required, and I was one of the lead engineers that put that solution in place for our associates to increase the security posture globally for the company. And as a result of that, I did receive an award, one of the awards, the Black Engineer of the Year award, at the Bay Area conference this year in February. So
Well,
that was
thank you. Thank you for doing that work, because here we are, everyone in the world working remotely, and without that security login, like, we wouldn't be able to function the way we have been and seamlessly and knock things out of the park. So hat off to you, sir, for your work there and helping all of us.
You guys might not like it, but we have to do it.
No, I no complaints. No complaints.
No, thank you.
And then well, do you want to, Yamani, you were an intern, so you worked on a project for your internship and now you're full-time. Can you share a little bit about the project that you worked on as an intern?
Yeah. That was one of my favorites. I mean, I have only worked only on one project as Tyler, but it was really nice because the opportunities to learn, to grow my knowledge, to grow as a software engineer was really amazing. And because Walmart has a lot of customers, so the projects you work on are on a big scale. So if it was a personal project, it wouldn't have been built up for a scale. But being in this company to showed me to really consider what you implement, why you are implementing that way, so that it can be efficient, it could be faster. So that's the project I worked on. It was making an API for internal mapping. It had to do connections with Walmart internal system, but the things I learned were really amazing that I had implemented on my senior projects as well. After my internship, I had the opportunity to implement my knowledge on my personal school project, so it was really great.
That's dope. I love it. Okay, you guys. Well, that concludes our panel discussion. All of you amazing HBCU grads that are also Walmartians. Thank you so much for your time today, for participating in this.